objections you've been hearing about email, what are they from small business owners?
I think, and I was the same, to be honest, when I started. I think it was just one too many things on the list. You know, when you start out trying to sell your product or services, it's just another thing you need to have time for or make time for. And I think most people struggle with that sort of thing, right? So, and I always said, I wish I would have started a year earlier. I started my list about 6 months into my business. I wish I would have started it 6 months before I started the business to get potential buyers of my products lined up, basically. And I guess that was when did you start, Victoria? When did you start?
Well, I wasn't really using MailChimp or anything like that. I was just, how can I explain it? Colloquially picking up emails, you know, oh, do you want to, it was all random. And I had a list and it was, you know, a couple of, maybe 100 people or something. And I kept adding to this list and never emailing it for ages. And kept thinking, oh, I should do something with those emails. You know, there's gold in there somewhere. I kept hearing all this stuff about, you know, the best time to start an email list was yesterday and the second best time is today. And I thought, yeah, I really ought to get on that. And I started with MailChimp originally and now use the one that comes with my website provider, which is good and bad. I still do use MailChimp for other mailing lists I have, which I've kept separate, so I don't confuse them.
I use MailChimp, and it's not like I didn't do any comparison with any of the other providers. It was really just organically, because the company I worked for in Bangkok used MailChimp for their mail outs, and I was used to the platform. I knew what it can do and cannot do. And it was an organic kind of thing. I thought, oh, okay, I might as well use what I know and not try and reinvent the wheel, really. And I'm still using it. I do like MailChimp. And once you have set up your templates and things like that, it's really just a simple drag and drop and, you know, off you go. It doesn't even take that long.
From what I understand, you know, with different people, you know, prefer different platforms, but it feels like they're just getting closer and closer in what they offer anyway. So it doesn't really.
And it's the same thing with any platform, really, right? The concept, whatever you do, even if it's website design or something, it's always a drag and drop, and you have your content blocks and you drag them over. It gets easier and easier. And
even though mine is through my website provider, I still have that. I set up a template, you know, I drag content blocks into it, and it's the same, even though it's a completely different platform to MailChimp. So one of the things I know,
I think it would be oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think it would be quite easy to migrate to another platform if you don't like the one you're using. I think it'd be quite easy to move over. And you did that, right? Yeah.
I just, without getting too technical, I just dragged the CSV file over and boom, the list is in a different place. It's quite simple. Which brings me to another thing that I think is the most powerful thing about mailing lists is that you own the contacts, right? So if I decided to set up another Instagram account, I can't drag and drop my contacts over. It's like, hey guys, I've got a new Instagram, and you have to start all over again from zero. Whereas this time I could take my, I think I had 250 at that time. I just dragged them over, plopped them in my website provider, and the same list is there. It just looked slightly different, but nobody really even realized it was from some other different place. So another thing that I think that people get really hung up on is that, well, there's lots of things, but people feel like they don't like being sold to. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
I don't like being sold to, so I don't want to bother other people with a sale as well. Do you find Do you find that's an objective that comes up quite a lot?
Yeah, and I think everyone has that when as a small business, right? But I think you can't really compare yourself to like the big players in that case. You can't, Amazon is obviously they're just selling. They don't provide any other thing but selling. But as a small business, I think you need to find another angle rather than just sending an email every week or whatever saying, buy this and buy that and buy one more of this. That just doesn't work for us. I feel, because whenever I've sent pure sales emails, they just don't fly. But when I lived in Japan, I had like emails that provided other details such as, oh, there's a cool event going on in Tokyo, or I've just discovered this art gallery or something like that. That keeps people coming back, right? But for that, you need to know your audience, right? You need to hone in who is your audience, who are your people, and then tailor that content. And it's way more fun sending those sort of emails anyway than just saying, buy this and purchase that. And that goes for products and services, I believe.
Right. So the 5 steps that we came up with, you've just come up with one of them actually, number 1, which is get to your audience. So overcoming your fear of it is, and you said it in a nutshell, that once you find out who you're talking to, then it becomes easier, and then it becomes quite, I like writing my email, controversial as it sounds, it used to bother me, and I don't know why. It used to be like, oh, I've not done my email. Now it's like, oh, I've not done my email, I'll just do that. And it's a very quick job. But it's because I know my audience and I know what they want to hear from me.
Yeah. And plus with like a platform like MailChimp, you can really actually say you have a newsletter and you have a few links on there to different content of not just to your own website, but to other people's websites, events or whatever. You can actually look at the statistics and see which one people click on most. So say I have a category that is interior design, and one is outdoors, and one is plants, and one is something else, and one of them constantly doesn't perform. You might as well just drop it off. That makes it way more interesting for your readers, and I don't waste time providing content that no one reads. So you can, the statistical part, and that's my banking background. I quite like that, the numbers.
Alex, in our partnership, Alex is numbers and hard facts, and I'm all the fluff. That's how we divide our divide our task.
Works really well, eh?
I can't be bothered with finances and platforms. Alex is like, right, you do the analytical stuff, I'll do the fluff. So
yeah,
that works well. Unfortunately, we both have to do both for our own businesses, so that doesn't help us really.
Yeah, that's right.
So number 2 is defining clear content pillars. So if you came to our Instagram class, you have already done that. So it's I have 5, and you have, well, you might change now. New style.
Mine is going to change. So that is kind of what I'm doing right now, is redefining my audience, because I'm not selling in Japan anymore. So one of my content pillars was Japan content, which now makes no sense, because now why should I write about Japan when I'm not there anymore? So I'm redefining mine, but I will always have interior design. There will always be travel. There'll be food, sort of like lifestyle kind of, content pillars, and these are mine. And sometimes they change, and I think everybody should review those on a regular basis and see what really fits with your brand, right?
Took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, you should be reviewing them perhaps every year anyway, to make sure you are the same person who wants to write about those things, and your business is in the same place, and that your audience is correct as well. Maybe you want to change your audience slightly as well, so you have to change your content pillars.
Yes.
So number 3 is we've also touched on a little bit, is adding value. So giving useful information in your emails, or solving a problem for your customer. So for example, one of my problems I'm solving is you can shop from this week, you can shop from the comfort of your own home. You can sit on your sofa with your bubbles or your hot cocoa, whatever it is, and 7 o'clock on Friday, you can shop from the comfort of your sofa. And further to that, I can then even wrap your gifts for you. And I can even send to the recipient if we want to take it even a step further. So that's the kind of value that I would be communicating in my emails, is that I know you're limited on time, and I can solve that problem for you by doing these few things. I can even write your Christmas card for you and send it in the package. So it's that kind of knowing what your customers' problems are and then showing that you can solve them. But you have to tell them that, not just on social media, but on email, right?
Yeah.
So
the sort of the problems I have, the info I provided to my customers. So my customer base back in Japan was expats in Japan, which, I was one of them, so I can really relate to that. So I provided quite a lot of useful information for traveling around Japan, or, food or something like that. So it's kind of like, it's easy when your ideal customer is yourself, because then you know exactly what to write. I know what I like to read, and so I know what I need to write. It's different, say, if I was targeting, say, like older males who are Chinese, that'd be a real problem for me. But in my case, it was females my age who are expats in Tokyo or in Japan. So it was pretty easy to come up with content for that.
Yeah. And that's goes on to my next point, number 4, which is do it quickly.
Yes.
So actually produce the content quickly. And the biggest thing that I hear is, I just don't have time to write a newsletter. I'm like, really?
Yeah, but you shouldn't. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like people tend to spend a lot of time on Instagram or on Facebook or other social medias, and I'm no different, right? But if you just ditch the scrolling for like 20 minutes, you can just knock it out. Once you have set up your email, setting up the templates, that takes a little while, but the actual writing part, you shouldn't be writing a novel anyway, because no one reads it. Just quick, short. And if you have more to say, then whatever you have to say, put it on your blog or website and then link to it, which is great, because that's what you should be doing, right?
It should actually say the same thing.
It should be going to your website, or to wherever you're selling, or whatever content you're providing. So a newsletter, I don't think, should be a static thing that just sits there. It should have calls to action. It should have links to that constantly feedback to your own website, without saying, buy me, shop this. More like, read more here. Say you put a recipe or something of a healthy granola bar. You just have a picture. You say, oh, I made this the other day. Want to make it? Click here. And then it goes back to your website, and then they're on your website, and then you're hoping your customer then reads the recipe and then scrolls around a bit and looks what else you have.
And if nothing else, Google will love you, because you got people clicking your website. So
that's right.
It's all good. And also batching. If you don't have time, you just batch it. You just write 4 emails for the month in one go.
Yeah. So, which makes a lot of sense too, because, well, for me, it made a lot of sense, because my brain works in a way that I had my plan for the month, and I knew what I wanted to say every week. And if I then just schedule them all out, that would be done. Spend an hour doing that once a month, and you're done. You can forget about it.
Holiday, and then you can still sell while you're on holiday. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Number 5, the last step for me still is just take action. Just do it. Just learn how to do it and just send it out. But don't just send it out once, continually, consistently send it out. And stop telling yourself that you're bothering people.
Well, if people unsubscribe, they wouldn't have bought from you anyway,
what do
right?
we do when they unsubscribe, Alex?
Yay! Yay! The problem is if you have a massive mailing list, say thousands of people, and only 50 of them open, it's really bad for your rating. It means that it ends up in more and more people's spam filters if you have a massive mailing list and no one opens it. So it's way better someone unsubscribes, so the percentage of people opening becomes bigger because of it. So yeah, and if they don't read it, they will never buy from you anyway. It's just it's a vanity measure, and it is sad when people go, because you gotta work really hard to get people to subscribe nowadays, don't you? It used to be way easier. But if they go, they're not your people.
Exactly.
That's the way it is.
A little happy dance to say I'm closer to my real fans. That's what I do. And that's what I tell myself. I was like, 3 unsubscribes. That's okay. That means I'm getting closer to my people. And it's better to have 500 people opening your email who are super fans than to have 10,000 who are only 100 of them are opening it and they're not that bothered because they're not sure it's for them. Which goes back to the content pillars and knowing your ideal customer. And if you don't do all that work beforehand, you can't write a good email anyway.